Hi, it's your old pal Life the Impaler. Hey, can I borrow $20? This is going to be my review of the Coin Hunt World Christmas event. The good, the bad, the remarkably painful, and anything else I can think of. Now, what I've learned in my limited experience in the corporate world is that you start with something good, you end with something good, and then you sneak the bad stuff right in the middle. So that's what we're going to do with this video. So overall, it was fun, right? It was Coin Hunt World's first attempt at a quest chain, and I think it worked pretty well. They warned us in the announcement that it was going to be a little repetitive, but I like the mechanics and I look forward to how they evolve it in the future. There were a few hiccups in the beginning. It became pretty obvious right from the start that with candy canes dropping in ones and twos that it was going to take us a whole week just to get the 200 necessary for a common tree, never mind 1,000 for the epic trees. But the developers, to their credit, they attended to that right away. I think it was in less than 24 hours, and after that the candy canes were dropping in twos and fives and sometimes in 50s. One time I got 350s in 3 hours. That was a good day. Trees and their various purposes were a nice touch, though even with the extra common tree that they gave everybody, getting some of those special resources was a real drag. Maybe it was just me, but for example, the bells got really scarce for me when I was getting really close to a goal. The same thing happened with the eggnog, and when I was on the home stretch to get the 1,000 candy canes necessary to build my epic tree, the drop rates for the resource boxes at the user vaults plummeted. I was going 3 or 4 user vaults in a row with 0 resource boxes. That means 0 candy canes. It was extremely frustrating. There was one 4-hour hunt I was on that I only got 40 candy canes. And the day before, I had gotten almost 200 candy canes in the same amount of times. So that caused a wee bit of panic. Now, a paranoid person might be tempted to think that the game was intentionally coded to make certain items scarce as you're getting close to a goal. I'm referring here to paranoid people. Not me, I'm fine. Why? What'd you hear? In my case, to make things even more difficult, I only had about 250 keys when the event started, which means I already knew that the grind to get that red key was going to be insane. I gotta say, after all that work, throwing my first red key into the quest chain after only owning it for about a minute, that gave me a little indigestion. Thanks to the data from my brand new smartwatch, I know that in the first 9 days of the event, I walked 107 miles. That's almost 12 miles a day on average. My worst day was 17 miles. I was in a bit of pain after that. By the middle of the event, both of my feet were injured, and I had pulled a muscle in my thigh while trying to stay upright on some ice. Suffice to say, I was a little beat up by the time the event ended. And I wasn't just walking. I was walking in Minnesota in December. Weather was terrible for most of the event. There was a snowstorm, and then some freezing rain and ice, and then some more snow fell on top of the ice so you couldn't see where the ice was anymore, and you had no idea when you were going to fall down and die. I mean, look at this. I got my big giant puffy coat on, my huge boots. 12 degrees. The wind was howling so hard one day that my legs almost got swept out from under me while I was standing on some ice. It was not easy, or even reasonably safe. For the record, I would just like to say that I never fell on my butt, although I had about 27 close calls. But the Norwegian Minnesotan stubbornness and stoicism prevailed, and I got it done. Fortunately, I got a new phone right before the event started, and my new phone handled the cold a lot better than my old phone. I also spent about 6 or 8 hours in a car with some friends, and I gotta be honest, if not for that car hunting, I don't think I would have finished the quest chain. I know Coin Hunt World is trying to encourage walking and cycling over driving, but if they want that, they're going to have to make future quest chains a little bit more easy. Otherwise, people are just going to get in their cars every time knowing that it's simply not possible on foot. But there was an unpleasant surprise waiting for us at the end of the quest chain. I mean, we probably could have figured it out if we'd thought about it for a minute, but who has time for that when they're walking 12 miles a day grinding for candy canes? The surprise, as most of you know, was at the end of the quest chain and getting that gingerbread man QB blueprint to drop, and it was not dropping very frequently. After 107 miles of walking and who knows how many hours of playing the game, the only thing standing between me and the end of the quest chain was essentially a coin flip. Fortunately, after 27 epic tree visits, less than 24 hours before the event ended, I got the Ginger Blueprint. Unfortunately, not everybody got the blueprint. There were 2 people in my local Discord server that did all the work, all the miles, and they didn't get the Ginger blueprint, and they were therefore unable to finish the quest chain. I think this was a huge mistake on the part of the developers, and I think they lost a lot of goodwill with some of their most hardcore players due to this oopsie. And since their marketing right now is just word of mouth, I don't think they can afford to be losing some of their hardcore players with setbacks like this. I hope the developers have heard the players' complaints about this and will adjust it for future quest chains. Either they need to take out the random luck factor and make it possible for someone to earn their way all the way to the end of the quest chain, or they need to make the drop frequency for that blueprint 100% for the people that have dropped a red key into the quest chain. I think it's going to take a while for Coin Hunt World to win back the goodwill from these defeated players. Some of them may never come back. With a game that's as under the radar as Coin Hunt World is right now, they can't afford to be alienating their most active players. Again, if I was working full-time or I didn't get that help from my friends hunting in their car, I don't think I would have finished the quest chain on foot. They need to make these things reasonably possible for people with full-time jobs and families and stuff. Otherwise, they're never going to grow much beyond a core of very dedicated players. But I promised to finish on a good note, and so since I did get to finish the quest chain, even though it was under a cloud of stress and anxiety, the satisfaction level was extremely high. I got a ton of paint and extra resources that I can sell in the auction house, except for maybe those 23 cinnamon sticks. Developers, please find a future use for those cinnamon sticks. We all have way too many of them, which makes them basically worthless in the auction house. Please and thank you. And those are my thoughts on the Coin Hunt World Christmas event. I'm going to take a week or two off to let my feet heal from all that walking, but then I'll be right back at it. I'm really enjoying the game in general, and I wish the best of luck to the developers for growing the player base of the game in 2022. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and if you're new to Coin Hunt World and haven't established your headquarters yet, please use my referral code. Doing so will get free loot for both you and me.